All right, everybody, welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley. We have a fun event tonight. It's always popular when we do Blantons. I think everyone kind of likes Blantons. Maybe some people, if they don't like it, they don't like the price or the how tough it is to find these days. But we do have it today, so we're going to be tasting it. We're going to be tasting 4 different versions of it. We're going to taste the regular shelfy version, if you will, which it's hard to say shelfy because you don't really find it on the shelves these days. But it's the regular version of Blanton, the one that's been around since 1984 when they rolled it out, and that comes in at 93 proof. Then we've got the red Takara. This is a Japanese only release, very similar to the US release. The big difference is the age on it. So they don't, Blanton's is not age stated, but they will tell you if you go on a tour or something like that. Blanton's is usually somewhere in between about 6 and 8 years old. Red Takara is about 8 to 10 years old. So a couple more years on it typically. And then we'll be tasting the gold, which is a 103 proof edition. It used to be, again, export only. So this was available in Japan, Europe, Australia, those type of things, Canada even. But now it is back in the US. Again, very limited supply. I didn't actually know anybody who got one. So it came out last year. 2020 was the first time, and it's officially now a US item. But again, very tough, highly allocated. You probably got to get it in a lottery if you get it, or if you're willing to buy from one of the stores that sells at the secondary prices. That's probably how you can find it as well. And then the last one I think is kind of special, straight from the barrel. It literally is that. It is Blanton's straight from the barrel. It's non-chill filtered. It's the only option tonight that is non-chill filtered. The rest of the Blanton's lineup does go through a chill filtration process. This does not. Again, nothing official on this, but my understanding, it's the normal 6 to 8 year age stated Blantons. It is going to vary, of course, because all Blanton's products are single barrel, and because it is coming out just as it came out of the barrel, it's going to vary in proof. The one that we'll be trying tonight is 127.6 proof. Before we get started with the tasting portion, I do want to just get into a little bit of history with the brand because it is pretty unique. Some of it you may know, some of it you may not. I don't know. We talk about this on some of our events and things like that, so you may even have heard it from us. We've done blog posts and shows because it is pretty unique setup. In 1983, the George T. Stagg Distillery was struggling, as many were in the 80s, and needed some help. And Takara Shuzo, a division of Takara Holdings, which is Takara Holdings actually sells all different kinds of stuff, medical supplies, you name it. It's a big holding company. So they literally will buy and sell companies in that. And the division Takara Shuzo actually sells distilled spirits. So that's the part. So it fell under that umbrella. And they bought into the George T. Stagg Distillery at that time. And they really purchased one of the mash bills, which at that time was just one item. Ancient Age was what now we call mash bill number 2. But at that time, Ancient Age, they bought into the distillery, cash influx to help George T. Stagg keep going. And then they started expanding it. So then you got Rock Hill Farms. They would ultimately come out with Elmer T. Lee under that, Hancock Reserve. And then, of course, the most famous one that they started working on right away. So they come in with Ancient Age. They buy this, what is now mash bill number 2. They add, they start talking to the master distiller, Elmer T. Lee, about expanding this. What could they do? Again, they're utilizing the same product, but different age, that type of thing. Single barrel is what Elmer T. Lee came up with. And he did this based on some history. The history of the company. And why he named it after Blanton. Blanton was the guy, Albert B. Blanton was the guy who hired Elmer T. Lee. Technically, he told him there was no jobs available. His right-hand man, a guy by the name of Orville Shupp, liked Elmer, liked the fact that, he was a veteran. He liked the fact that he was an engineer. I thought there'd be some place for him, and brought him in for an interview, liked what he saw, brought him then to Colonel Albert B. Blanton. Colonel Blanton said, we're not hiring. So there's no job. As they leave, Elmer, of course, is dejected, and Orville says, just show up. We've got some work we can have you do, and we'll just keep having you do that, and ultimately it'll lead to a job. And that worked. Ultimately came around. He did a good job working on some equipment and things like that, and Colonel Blanton saw a need for him in the distillery and then officially gave him a job, at some point there. So Elmer T. Lee then was, put in charge of kind of finding something new. What else could we do with this mash bill? What could we create? And he came up with this idea of a single barrel. And he looked back to Albert Blanton himself, who used to utilize single barrels for parties and stuff like that. It was, he'd find these, what they termed even back then, honey barrels, which is a term we still use today, for barrels that are off profile, but in the best way possible. Very good tasting and that type of thing. And he would hang on to those. And when they needed political favors or things like that, they might draw from that barrel and give somebody a couple bottles. Or if they had, a big party, they would entertain at the distillery. They would draw from these barrels that were actually put aside by no other than Jimmy Johnson Sr., who had grown up with Colonel Albert Blanton near the distillery. And what's unique about Jimmy Johnson Sr. is the fact he is African-American, and Colonel Blanton and he were friends. And Jimmy Johnson Sr. really found a job for himself working side by side with Colonel Blanton. They would travel together and things like that. He got a job as a warehouse supervisor, which you're talking about early 1900s, really unheard of for an African-American to have a job that, had where people reported up to him, just Caucasian. So very unique situation, but it really spoke a lot to who Colonel Albert Blanton was. And of course, it also spoke a lot to the great work that Jimmy Johnson Sr. was doing. But part of his jobs as a warehouse supervisor was to find these unique barrels. He would find them for Colonel Blanton and say, here's where they at, or here's where the ones age really well. And he would help Blanton secure these barrels. So fast forward now to Elmer T. Lee. He's been challenged to come up with a product. He comes up with this idea of doing a single barrel. Maybe they can just sell the honey barrels, and of course, who does he turn to? He turns to Jimmy Johnson Jr. Jimmy Johnson Jr., of course, had taken over the role his dad had, even became a warehouse manager. So even a step up above where his dad achieved within the organization. And they worked side by side to handpick those barrels that would become Blantons. And of course, Jimmy Johnson Sr., grandfather of Jimmy Johnson Jr., the father of Freddie Johnson. So the third generation tour guide at Buffalo Trace, the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Famer, Freddie Johnson. That's who his father and grandfather are, and they helped or were integral in really what the Blanton's product is today. So Elmer T. Lee comes out with Blanton's. A lot of question: could you even sell something like that? You're talking about a time when bourbon's down. That's why the company had financial problems. Could you come out with what at that time would be a super premium product? And it turns out there was a need for it. There was a thirst for it. It's one of the moments that started turning the industry around. There's not one single thing you could say, this is why bourbon is what it is today. But I think the introduction of Blanton's does play into that. Everyone will tell you it's the first ever commercial single barrel product, but Old Forester, I think, had a couple of releases back in the day, maybe that was for specific reasons or just one-offs, but Old Forester had that. And of course, back before Prohibition, you're talking about in the 1800s, 1700s, bourbon, of course, was always sold by the barrel when it was purchased by merchandises, by companies that were selling it, like bars and that, because they didn't even, when you go back far enough, they didn't even have it bottled. You'd either buy it by the barrel if you were a business, or buy it by the container that they would charge you for if you bought it directly from the distillery. So, but Blanton's is widely regarded as the first ever commercial single barrel offering. So here we are, 1985. Elmer T. Lee, after introducing Blanton's in 84, kind of the capstone to his career, he does retire, and Takara continues to be involved. And then in 1992, Sazerac comes to the organization. They're interested in buying what is now George T. Stagg Distillery, changes to Ancient Age based on the fact that the product line, the mash bill that they had, the distillery was actually changed name. Sazerac buys into it. They take over the distillery itself. But they retain a partnership with Takara Holdings. So Takara still owns mash bill number 2. That's what's unique about where we're at today. Technically, Buffalo Trace does not own that. They have an operating agreement. They do everything with it. They're the ones that distill it, they age it, they bottle it, they market it. It's basically viewed by and large as bourbon consumers as Buffalo Trace's products or a Sazerac product, if you look to the parent company. But in reality, that's actually owned and controlled by Takara Holdings, which has this working partnership with Sazerac Company or Buffalo Trace Distillery. So that's kind of an interesting side note. In 1992, that's when all that went down. And then in 99, again, Sazerac's in place. They had changed it back from Ancient Age to George T. Stagg after they purchased it. And then in 99, they rolled out with what is now we know as the Buffalo Trace, just the regular bourbon that has their brand name on it. And then they changed the name of the distillery to match that. Then it became the Buffalo Trace Distillery. So that brings us up to today. Again, the ones that we're going to be trying, the first one is going to be the Blantons 93 proof. Again, aged 6 to 8 years. This is chill filtered. Same thing with the red Takara, 93 proof, just aged a little bit longer, also chill filtered. The gold 103 proof, also chill filtered. And then finally, straight from the barrel. Evan, I need you to jump in and talk when that happens, man. All right. Or Justine, but she's not here. So I don't know where Justine's at tonight. That's supposed to be her job.
Sorry about that.
That's right. So a couple of other unique things about Blantons. It is always aged in warehouse H. So it's handwritten on the label. Every label that you get has some things written on there. And one of the things is what warehouse it's from. And it is H handwritten on there, but it's always H. It seems like they could just print that on the label because it's always the same. And the reason for that is it's a unique warehouse at Buffalo Trace. It's the only metal warehouse. And it happened to be Colonel Blanton's favorite. He said that's the one that made the best bourbon. And when he would pluck his single barrels for those parties that he would do, they would always come from Warehouse H. So when Elmer was doing this and he was working with Jimmy Johnson Jr., they looked straight to Warehouse H. And then the decision was made, it'll always come from Warehouse H, which is pretty interesting too, because if you think about it, you don't want to jinx anybody, but if you think about it, there are some real risks there. I don't know what their fire proofing there is, but it's got to be pretty locked down, pretty solid, because they literally could lose everything by not distributing it around the campus in different warehouses and things like that. They're all in on Warehouse H. So, it's pretty unique. Pretty much any distillery will, if they've got a product, they'll put it around to different warehouses just in case something would happen. It allows them to pull from different places. So I thought that's pretty interesting as well. So with that, let's now give this thing a try. Let's go to our first one. As we talk about our first one, it's always a good idea to pour our next one. So the next one's going to be the red Takara. So if you could pour your red Takara sample, we're not going to be drinking that one just yet. We're just going to let that sit for a little bit, but let's go ahead and pour that as we begin talking about the shelfie version. The 93 proof regular Blantons, the one that more than likely, if you've tried Blantons at all, this is going to be the one that you tried. It might be unique if you've only tried one and it's not this one, but it could happen. But all right, let's talk again. You can open up your mics. We want this to be interactive, fun. Open up your mics and let's talk about what we're getting on the nose. Nose is really, really good, solid, layered in flavor. Scent, I guess.
I feel like since I poured it, I nosed it right away just to see what I would get, and it's definitely gone fruitier as it's opened up.
Yes, I agree. Very fruity. I mean, cherry, certainly there.
Maybe a little cinnamon and maybe also some vanilla.
Cinnamon and vanilla. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Is it almost apricot?
Apricot. Okay, that's good. I'm with you there, Evan. I was saying peach, but it could peach apricot.
I could close. See peach also. Yeah,
they're pretty close. But if you keep nosing it, you do get a little kind of peppery on the nose, and even some like French toast. I mean, there's a lot going on, and everything's good too. I mean, this is solid, very, very good representation of the brand here on the nose, I'd say. Anything else anybody else wants to add to that before we take our first taste here? All right, what we'll do next, let's try it, and then I'm going to go around. You feel free to share anything you like, and then I'm going to go around and pick about half the people that are participating on this one, and then next time we'll do the other half, and we keep doing that as we go through and taste. So cheers on this first one, gang. All right. again, I think it's really good. What are you guys thinking as you taste that one? That fruit comes through on the taste for sure.
Yeah, it's the cherry and vanilla just hold.
Yeah. Cherry vanilla. You do get the spice. It's got a great finish. I mean, it's heats up a little bit, sticks with you, which I like. It's definitely not overpowering, but it does stay there and kind of linger, which is nice. And some of that can probably see as you see the legs on the side of the glass. That's probably as a result of that. As it coats the inside of the mouth, those flavors that linger, that spice from the rye in this thing, will stick around and will heat up the mouth even after as you finish the bourbon, which is cool. What other tasting notes do we want to share? Mike, what are you thinking, man?
Oh, it's hard to pick anything out of here that's specific. It's just good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, though, right?
It's just everything works together pretty damn well.
Yeah. I mean, as you drink this, I hope you're thinking what I am. I mean, that's a solid bourbon right there. That's a good, solid, even premium product. I get it. You do get Blanton's hate, and you find these things because people can't get it, they get frustrated, and then they lash out on the internet. You know, if I post this bottle today and say it was full, I was like, look what I just found today. People will be telling me it's not that good. You're an idiot. You wasted your money. It's trash. And I think that's all an offshoot of the fact it is good and it is tough to find. So people tend to lash out at those ones that are tough to find. So
good, but overrated most of the time, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it also depends on
the barrel, I think.
Yeah, the barrel and too the price you're paying. If you're paying retail, I think it usually delivers that amount or maybe a little bit above that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. If you're paying $200 for a $65 bottle, then yeah, it might be too much. Mr. Bill, what do you think of this one? You're shaking your head. I assume you like this one, and usually you're kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down guy. What do you think of this?
It's good. I like it. Everything everybody said. Mike, you stole my tagline. I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't steal your shirt. I just stole your tagline.
There you go.
The famous red shirt.
All
right, Lee, what do you think? What's some of your tasting notes with this one?
Oh yeah, I get some of the dark fruits on the front, and then I get a little pepper kind of in the middle, and then I feel like I'm getting like some like oak or leather on the back end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's definitely there, which again, I think kind of falls under really the true classic bourbon notes, oak and leather. Yeah. And you like when you get those and it just has a good old time bourbon taste. And yeah, they're there for sure. I agree. All right. How about you, Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, definitely the stone fruit and the oak. I may be imagining it, but I'm picking up a whisper of like butterscotch, and that pepper, that rye spice that does stick with you, with you on the tongue. The tongue for me.
Me too. That's definitely where it's hit me. All right, let's go one more. Let's go Rob B and ask him about what he thinks, and then we'll move on to our second one. Again, we will come back to all these. We go through a second time, a little bit higher overview the second time through, but we do like to try everything twice. So, Rob B, what are your thoughts?
All right, so I'm going to go against the grain a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not most of you probably are Blantons fans. You wouldn't be on the call, I would imagine. I'm not the biggest original Blantons fan. I'm really curious about the next three.
Mm-hmm.
I find this just sort of okay, like a 5 out of 10 stars in my own personal Yelp. I just feel like, I could replace this with like a very old Barton 90 or Elijah Craig small batch. It's kind of right in that arena. So yeah, certainly not chasing it personally. But yeah, it's fine, but it doesn't do much for me. If it wasn't in that beautiful package, I don't think I'd buy it on the shelf myself.
Mm-hmm. What would you buy it if I was in the liquor store behind you and sitting on the counter was a bottle of this for $65?
It's a great gift. a great gift.
See, that's what all
So,
these
yeah.
guys would do.
Of
That's
course
what
I would.
all of them
Yeah.
that bash it absolutely 100% would buy it if they're in front of me. No, nobody be like, because I always see this stuff and I'm always like, well, I'm just the next one. I'll get it. It never works out. Everybody takes everything. So yeah, I get it though, man. Yeah, there's value and the intersection of value and cost. That's a tough one to measure, and everybody's different for sure. So there's no wrong answers there, Rob. But in terms of taste, all that stuff aside, what are you getting taste wise on this one?
Yeah, to me, it's a little. It always finishes a little thin for me, and I get a little more like honey crisp, like honey apple, and a little almost like a more lemon zest than anyone else has described. So I think that's where it sort of falls short for me is the finish. It's a little thin, and I'm a big fan of like big chewy viscous bourbons, and I don't get this one from the original.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. We're going to move on to the red Takara, but of course that means we do pour the one that's coming up next. So that'll be the gold. So we're going to pour the gold here. But that's not the one we're going to be drinking, but we're going to go ahead and pour that. But there's no doubt the coolest thing about the gold is the bottle topper is actually gold. That's not real gold, gold-ish looking. So
I was about to say I'm jealous. We have these little bottles and you're like getting cork pops.
Yes, it's not bad. It's not bad.
They all had to come out of something.
Exactly. So, all right. So the one that we're going to be talking about now is this red Takara. Again, this is Japanese only release. So, you can find it online. A curious thing, just by chance, the one that we're pouring here is, these are like a day apart in 2019, poured. So
Steve, is this the one that comes in like the green box?
No, it's a red box.
It is a red box?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They have so many different ones. They've got a black one. I saw a blue one. They do a lot of, I don't necessarily know what the difference is in all of them. Just researching these again, they're pretty close, but there is something a little bit different about each. Supposedly what's different about this is they tend to have a little bit more age on it. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes through. Should add a little bit, as Rob was talking about in the last one, looking for more depth of character and things like that. It should be there. Of course, that comes at a price. Again, because we're not getting it here from the US, it gets sent over to Japan, comes back. There are retailers that'll sell it. You're talking more along the lines of $300 to $600. So you can find it online. So it's not cheap. It is definitely not cheap, but it is really unique. So let's see. I've never tried this one before myself. First taste of it's going to be with you guys. So here we go. Let's talk again. Red Takara is the one we're talking. Let's talk on the nose first.
Got a different nose.
Different nose.
Yeah.
It almost has, I don't know, cedar.
Cedar.
Smell.
Okay. Cedar.
I mean,
Cedar and
evergreen
cherry,
wood.
maybe more cedar and cherry.
Yeah.
Butterscotch or marshmallow on the nose or something.
Butterscotch and marshmallow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see that.
I was going to say like caramel. I'll get
Caramel.
sweet
Okay.
caramel.
These all sound like good things to me, right?
This one is so much better in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It smells like a dusty.
A dusty. Okay. Famous dusty.
I was going
funk.
to say exactly that. It reminds me of like a vintage bourbon, kind of that
Mhm.
cedar. That cedar smell kind of gives you that dusty vibe.
It's
Yeah.
usually like a older oak funk. I
Mhm.
think that usually comes off on that.
Yeah. There's a little something in there too, like orange jello or something, like that kind of fake orangey.
It's
I get
juicy
some of
fruit.
that too. Maybe it's juicy fruit. We've never had
peanuts.
We've never had a tasting without juicy fruit to make an appearance. So,
Circus peanuts.
and then we get someone new and they're like, "What are they talking about?" Like, "Oh no, that happens every time we do one of these." So, all right, let's try this one. I'm excited about this one. It's the one that I've never tried, so I'm really excited about this. So let's do it.
You immediately taste the difference.
Yeah, that is really good.
A lot of vanilla right up front.
Yeah. it's got vanilla, heavier on the leather, the taste too. It's kind of a little bit drier, like a red wine or something like that, kind of hits the palate. That's that same type of way as that. So all in all, a different experience than the first one. So yeah, definitely not as peppery. I agree.
Yeah, I think this is more savory than fruity.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree on the savory comment. Yeah. All right, Jack, what are your thoughts as you taste this one?
Yeah, definitely didn't have like the honey taste that I thought in the first one. More earthy. Definitely agree with the more savory.
Yeah.
Much more complex.
Yeah. This one's meant to be paired with a steak, I believe. Sean, what are your thoughts as you taste the red Takara?
Oh, it is a little different than what you're tasting, so it's a little kind of hard to compare.
Right. Sean said he had all these and asked if he could come on. So we brought him in. So that means, of course, Blantons is a single barrel product. These are all going to be different. So yes, but so we're asking you from a perspective of sharing what you've got, knowing that it is a different bottle.
Yeah. So when I tell you that it tastes like, good wet wood, it's going to be a little different than your good wet wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Comparison, a little compare and contrast to the regular Blantons. What are your thoughts?
It's definitely better than the regular. More body. Definitely tell the age difference.
Okay. All right.
It tastes less than 93 proof if the other one was 93 proof.
Yeah. The other one did the other one, I don't know. It feels like this one's maybe at the 93 proof, and the other one felt more closer to 100 based on the lingering spice and stuff like that. But it just is what it is. Jake, how about you, man?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot smoother. Definitely get the marshmallow notes. Yeah, overall it's hard to go from one to the other. So definitely needed a palate cleanser, but I thought it was good.
Yeah. How about you, Dave? What are your thoughts as you taste the second offering that we've got here?
That seems completely different to me, which I was surprised by. Has none of the characteristic Blantons to me, but it's still very good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I get kind of a cola out of it, like a cherry cola, maybe.
Cherry cola. Okay. All right. Ben, you're the same thing as Sean. You got a different one, but what are your thoughts here as you taste this second offering we've got?
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Steve, and thanks for allowing me to join. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get, so at the end, I get the wood taste, but at the end I get a sweetness, and it's just like subtle, that like candy apple is what I'm tasting, right? Like if I went to the fair and nice candy apple, that's what I'm tasting. And it's way smoother than the original. I mean, it's just easy to drink. That's the problem with it. It's easy to drink.
It's easy to drink. You don't like when they're that expensive and they're easy to drink. You want to be like, whoa, I really got to save this. You don't want to start drinking, keep pouring, and then in the morning be like, well, 3/4 of that bottle's gone.
Well, I mean, at least you could tell your wife where the money went, though.
Exactly.
Used for a good cause, baby.
Yeah, sure. They love that. They do.
Yeah, they do.
Sorry, the last one, not by name there. It's just on our screen. We see TOBC RG. So help us out here. Oh, that's sorry, I didn't realize in the chat here. Not able to use audio video. Still hanging out. Okay, so apparently can hear us. Okay, but not able to participate in terms of sharing anything. Evan, we're going to jump up to you for the last one to weigh in on this one before we move on. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot different than what everybody's kind of stated. It gives you that little older feeling, smoother, exactly like what Ben described. I went for, what that felt like, and he's absolutely right. The original finishes with that little bit of spice and it goes a little thin. And then on the red Takara, that finish just kind of smooths out, and it's a soft finish, and it's a little bit sweeter. So far, like, I think it beat the original in I think almost every category.
You know, one of the things that I'm curious about, to me, it's like a very creamy mouthfeel. Like it just lingers and it just stays on my tongue. And I don't seem to get like the kind of a Kentucky hug out of this thing. And I think that's why it seems so smooth. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting, is just that it just feels like it's coating the tongue.
Yeah. No, I that's kind of the same experience I'm getting. Yeah, it does kind of stick around there, but nothing, throughout. Sometimes you taste those and it goes all the way down the classic Kentucky, but not at all here.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No. And here we are, middle of summertime, and this feels like one you could sit outside and drink during summer. Sometimes when they're so hot, it's a miserable. It adds to your misery when you're sitting out in the heat. This one I don't feel would. You could have this be a summertime sipper. So
yeah, Steve, the closest thing I remember tasting something like this to is those decanter trucks I got from you.
Oh yeah.
What were those, like 80s beams?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of the closest thing I've ever tasted of this one.
Yeah.
Hey Steve, I'm curious. You mentioned it. I noticed on that original bottle it was 11/18. You said it was a day apart. I'm only curious because my birthday is on the 19th of November, so I'm kind of curious.
Let's see here. No, it is 11/17.
Okay.
It's close. It's close. We're all over it. Maybe the next one. Let's see. Maybe the gold's 11/19. No, it is not.
I doubt it.
No. 4/11/16 on the gold. And what's our date here? This is 7/13/17. 17. Straight from the barrel. Okay. Let's put this aside for now. Again, we'll come back to it. We're going to pour our straight from the barrel. Give that just a little time to sit. All right. Okay. That's not the one we're talking about, though. We are talking about the gold. The gold. The gold was the first one that I ever tried besides the regular. So there used to be a place, Master of Malt, you could buy these from regularly. So I would, and it made sense to buy two at a time based on the shipping. It would cost like the same to buy two. So it's like you had a constant, of these, because and they were like, I don't know, $75 plus, $70 shipping for two. So like 35. So you're getting them for about $100. Which is not really that bad. And so yeah, that was something that I had pretty regularly, but then Master Malt quit doing it. Said it was illegal or something. I don't know. They did it for years. I don't know. All of a sudden it's no good anymore, but yeah, now I really haven't got any in a while. So this is my personal inventory that we're dipping into here. And yeah, no real prospects to get any more at this point. Let's talk about the nose on this one.
This thing's a caramel bomb to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out of control.
Yeah. Liquid caramel. Smells really fresh and clean though,
I feel like it sits somewhere between the first two, where we had the brighter, fruitier, and then we went a little bit darker and oakier. I think this one it falls in between that.
Yeah. You're talking, somebody said, like a dusty on this one's definitely not that. It's pretty crisp on the nose, I would say. Anything else anyone wants to share? All right, let's try this one. Cheers, gang. That's pretty darn good. That is pretty solid. The 103 proof, again, this is 10 proof points higher than the other two that we tried. And you can tell it definitely comes in at a higher proof. Finish is pretty short, though. I mean, it's not like it really lingers. I feel like the one that lingered the most still to this point is the first one. The first one lingered on the tongue. You felt that rye spice hitting you for quite a while. None of them have lived up to that. But this is still very solid. Let's talk a little bit about what we're getting on this. I'm going to just jump in randomly this time. I was kind of going by who's on my screen in the order. This time I'm just going to kind of pick randomly. And again, hopefully I'll get the other half the next time. So we're going to start with Rob W. and ask him what his thoughts are on this one.
I'm getting creme brulee on this one. It's just mustard and burnt sugar.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Yeah. Yeah. Really solid offering. I like it a lot. Mr. Legend, how about you?
I'm going to agree with Rob. Creme brulee, a lot of caramel.
Yeah. Again, Sean, I know you've got a different, barrel, but tell us a little bit about what your gold one tastes like.
My dump date is 1/14/14.
Okay.
Which is my wife's birthday, and I've had this bottle for several years, and Ben wanted to know why I held on to it so long. Now he knows. It is really, really good.
Nice. Yeah. And how does yours finish? Does it have a longer finish, or is it kind of? Yeah.
It's probably right in between the other two.
Okay.
It's not as long as the first one. There is a little more rye lingering on this one compared to the red.
Okay.
And definitely some caramel on the nose. And I could probably drink it all night.
Yeah. Let's check in with Jake and team. Sounds like we got multiple people there. So Jake and company, what are your thoughts on this one? We're talking about the gold now.
Yeah, I thought the gold was, like I said, it was nice, smooth, very easy drinking. Definitely get the caramel notes. My wife picked up on some apple that I wasn't picking up on, but nonetheless, very good.
Yeah. Dave, how about you?
It's kind of, I don't know, very neutral, I would say. Like nothing's popping out to me.
Okay.
It's very good. It's very all the classic bourbon flavors, but I was surprised it doesn't, like Bland's always feels like it has some sort of spiciness to it.
Right.
That makes it Bland's, and I'm not getting that on this one, but I mean, still obviously amazing.
Yeah. More along the lines of just bourbon. If you said, what's the taste? Just you could put it the classic bourbon taste is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when somebody said creme brulee, so that kind of
creme brulee
aligns exactly with that.
Okay. We'll do a couple more on here before we move on. Let's go with Mr. Bill. I don't know if you're on mute there, Bill.
I like it. It's good.
Okay.
I agree. It falls somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
The first one had a very long finish. The second one had a very short finish. And this is right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Okay. All right, Jim, how about you, man?
I was getting vanilla, caramel. It was a little cherry to me. Definitely more. It was almost all in the mouth. Hardly any hug in the chest at all. Love the proof on it. I definitely like the higher proof stuff. So really looking forward to the next one.
Okay. All right. We will go one more. I'm going to check in with Brian Murphy and ask him to weigh in on this one. Murph, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with those that said caramel, burnt sugar. I get a little leather on it. So, and the finish is nice, right in between the other two, I think.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Again, set that aside for now. We'll come back to it. Let's go to our last offering of the day, straight from the barrel. This one is packs the heavy punch, comes in at 127.6. Again, only non-chill filtered. In reality, they wouldn't have to chill filter any of these. Chill filtration occurs for bourbons less than 92 proof. If you have a bourbon that's less than 92 proof, if it gets cold out, it will cloud up because there are some, fatty acids in there that will coagulate together. They'll group up, almost like you think about, what happens with, bacon. You cook bacon, it's liquid in the pan. Afterwards, you pour that into a can or something, and that will then come together. That's kind of what happens too if it gets colder, especially if you put that in the refrigerator. You'll see that come together pretty quickly. That's what happens with those. So they chill filter them, they scoop those things out of there, and that goes out. But of course, that's flavor. Let's not forget that that's all flavor that's taken out there. This is not gone through that process. By nature, this should be the most flavorful of the bunch. We'll see. We're going to put it to the test. Let's talk about nose on this one.
Sure.
Yeah. It's really good. You got some honey and some apple there. But also the caramel. We talked about, caramel bomb on the last one. This one's definitely got a heavy dose of that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the proof, when the nose is not like stinging,
Right.
Really smooth for such high proof that it is.
Yeah, sometimes you take a nose of some of those, that are over 120 proof like this one, and it'll snap your head back because it's like, whoa. But yeah, not getting that here.
Definitely getting like a deep, rich pie or cobbler.
Pie or cobbler, okay.
Have you guys noticed that it looks darker and it's not as bright looking?
Yeah. It definitely is. It's the darkest of the bunch, kind of more really towards the, mahogany.
Yeah.
Light mahogany, but not. So you do see some that are darker than this in the world, but this is definitely the darkest of the bunch, which it's not necessarily the oldest. Again, none are age stated, so maybe technically it is. We don't know. But we do know that this should come in about the 6 to 8 year range that the regular Blantons and the gold come in typically. And again, they're allowed to do whatever they want. So an individual barrel, if they feel like it tastes right, it's by taste. So this could be the oldest one of the bunch, or it could be the youngest one of the bunch. But it is dark for sure. All right, last one of the night. We got to cheers this one, gang. Cheers. Let's see what we got here. Wow. That's spectacular. Really, really solid. Okay. And again, 127.6. So you're pushing in towards closing in on 130 there. Does not drink like that. Certainly you do know there's some proof there, but it does not drink like it's 127.6, at least in my opinion. Very, very solid. Rob B, let's start with you. Taste wise, what are you getting on this one?
So you hit the nail on the head. I like high proof. That may be one of the easiest at 127.6 I've ever tasted. It's tremendous. To me, it noses like Breyer's vanilla ice cream.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Specifically. And it's extremely, extremely drinkable for that ABV. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Breyer's vanilla, is that the one where you see the little vanilla beans in there? Yes, I like that. That's the good one. Yeah.
That's the one.
And then you look at the ingredients, and it's just like 3 ingredients, it's like cream, vanilla. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do like Breyer's. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Van Squike, tell us a little bit about what you're getting on taste wise here.
Yeah. Really getting some like warm, hot caramel, like it's almost if you took like a richer candy and it was melted down, because you're getting the hot from the heat of the proof. And like I noticed differently that immediately explodes like right on the front of your palate.
Right.
Like it hits straight and up and gives you like just that different experience. It holds so much better than a lot of the others. I mean, still really like the red Takara, like out of the ones we tasted, but against the other two that are more of the traditional blends, this is superior product for sure.
Yeah. Lee, what do you think?
I'm definitely the nose that Rob, he nailed it with the vanilla Breyers. I mean, that is definitely spot on. But I get like I get caramel, and then kind of right in the middle of it, it's almost like cinnamon red hots as opposed to like as opposed to a pepper spice, but then it kind of evolves into more of a pepper spice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It does like the first one, and even a little bit more degree, kind of sticks around on the tongue, gives you that peppery spice across your tongue, and it kind of goes just back and forth. It feels like pop rock sensation when you're a kid. If you enjoyed those, kind of feels like that with that rice spice dancing on your tongue. Jack, how about you, man?
Very much. I thought the nose was the weakest of the last few we tried, but that I almost had like a sensation of it sizzling when I tasted it.
Yeah,
and it had like the best nose for the last couple ones. This is one of those where I'm like, God, where can I buy it? So
right. Take my money. Yeah.
How can I buy it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How can I buy it? I think comes down to it. All right, Rob W.
I really like
Yeah, cool. Rob W., what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this was a lot like the red, except cranked up till 11.
Yeah.
I was actually I like the red is my least favorite, and I was like, I just felt that was just too easy, not much to it. This is like, okay, this is taking it to the extreme, and it's just really good.
Yeah. Ben, we'll check in with you, knowing that again you've got a different barrel here, so the experience is slightly different. But tell us about what your thoughts are on the straight from the barrel versus the other offerings here tonight.
Yeah, so our dump date is 5/8/18, and I gotta apologize to Sean because when he asked me if the straight from the barrel I had was the same proof you guys were drinking, I just said yes, but it was a lie. So we're sipping on 136.6 proof.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have to tell you, and I don't know if it's the 6 ounces that I just drank in the last 45 minutes or what, but for 136 proof, it doesn't hit like the burn you would expect from 136 proof.
Right.
So on the palate, it's actually very mild. I could actually hold this in my mouth and like swish it around more so than I could the original. The original, I was just ready to drink it and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
Where this, I kind of want to just kind of savor it a little bit. But as far as the like nose profile goes, everything everybody's saying and the taste, as far as what you guys have said, it's the same for me. I'm just kind of amazed of like how really calm it is on the palate for being 136.6.
Yeah, very nice. All right, Dave, let's check in with you, man.
Sorry, my mouse battery died. So yeah, I mean, this is Blanton's just amped up to an amazing place. Agree with everything everyone said, but also want to point out the legs are amazing, and that's translating to mouthfeel that's pretty amazing. So
yeah,
definitely my favorite for the night.
Okay. All right. Great job. That's through all of them. What we'll do is we like to go back through one last time. Again, this is a high level. We won't necessarily call on people and that, but we encourage you to talk about what you're getting on the nose, on the taste as we go back through these. You may want to do some water or something like that, because now you're jumping all the way back down from 126, 127.6 all the way back down to 93. Probably good to kind of reset the palate the best you can.
Look.
Yeah. Things are going to be different automatically based on what your palate's gone through. Once you go to that high, your palate is going to evolve a bit for the night. But we're going to do it just to see. And then we'll culminate this with everybody picking what their favorite is. We'll see what the favorite. I think I know what it is, but we'll see. We'll see if voting. And of course, don't vote yet. Please keep an open mind. Sometimes these things change second time through. People will change their vote. Mr. Bill's done that to us several times. He's announced what he's going to vote, and then he's gone back through the second time and he's changed. Right, Bill? That happens.
Never.
Yeah, it has to. We record these, don't forget. Don't make me go through the archives.
Okay, maybe.
All right. All right, there you go. All right, we're going all the way back to the shelfie version, the regular Blantons, 93 proof, the classic, if you will. I remember last time we talked, pretty fruity. To me, again, product evolution, personal evolution, I don't know. I'd say more along the lines. It's still very sweet, but it's more like his nose is more like cookies or something like
I was
that,
getting graham crackers.
or graham crackers or something. Yeah, something in the baked goods. Whereas last time I felt like it was all fruity. We talked cherry and stuff like that.
That's happened a lot through a lot of our events.
Yeah.
When we've done blinds, when we've done single barrel committees, the second time through almost always brings the baked goods when the first one had the fruits.
Yeah, that's why it's good too to follow along with the program. Sometimes people they'll get here 15 minutes early, pour all theirs, and have them ready to go, and it's like then we're experiencing something different for those of us that are just pouring it as we're going. So try to keep
like that's what I did.
Yeah, of course.
Me too.
Yeah. See, okay.
This time I'm getting vanilla wafers.
Vanilla wafers. Yeah, I'd say that's a real good explanation. Yeah.
I'm getting almost like a raw custard, like ice cream before you freeze it.
Okay.
You pour it into the ice cream mixer kind of going on.
Yeah. So let's see what difference this has on the taste. It could be a very good thing. It could be bad. It could be it is different, but it's not better or worse. So let's try it. Here we go.
A lot less peppery than it was the first time around. Nowhere near.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The peppery's gone away. Almost to Mike's point, if you've ever made ice cream and you get that base and maybe if you lick the spoon at the end or something, you pour it in there or something, you mixed it with a spoon, you taste it, and it's like kind of tastes like that. And again, we talked about how the finish it stuck around. It doesn't do that now. I'm not getting anything sticking around on the tongue. No rye spice dancing around, nothing like that, like we talked about before.
It's very forgettable now. I think the first time we tasted it through, I was like, if we think about the bottled and blonde finals that we did,
yeah,
I think it would have definitely lost all of those. Just it's very forgettable. But it gives you the classic notes that oh yeah, this is kind of what a bourbon with rye in it tastes like. And now it's definitely forgettable after you've tasted the others.
Right.
I think it's still kind of getting nuked by the straight from the barrel too.
That's going to happen.
That definitely didn't help this out.
Correct. 100% agree with that. That's just going to be, the nature of doing this type of thing. That's why you always follow the proof. You go up and it's, really hard to go back. So
I tell you, it would be very interesting to blind this with an Ancient Age and a Hancock's and just see what you get.
Right. Yeah. Would be fun. I'll tell you what, that's a hard group to put together. Mash bill number 2, Ancient Age, of course you can get that anywhere. You can even get Ancient Age. But the other ones, Hancock Reserve, that's like impossible to find, and it shouldn't be. Rock Hill Farms, I don't even understand that one. That's, to me, a decent drinker and something is thoroughly enjoyable, but not worth a couple $100 like the people are selling it for.
Yeah.
No way.
It's basically just 100 proof Blantons.
Yeah. There's
like
no
gold
way.
edition, basically.
That stuff's insane the way people.
I like the Rock Hill Farms better than I like the Hancock, but if I'm not paying close to MSRP for it, I'm probably not buying it.
Right.
Spending $300-400 for it.
Yeah, the only luck I ever had with Hancock's was going to the liquor store that I never buy bourbon at because all they ever have is the standard stuff you can find anywhere, and they're a little more expensive. And they had a whole case of Hancock sitting there at $46 a bottle.
Really?
And damn, I had a case of Hancock's all of a sudden.
Is that one you got to sneak into the house, or is it cool at your house where you can just walk in front of your wife with a whole case of something and not get in trouble?
Once I said, baby, it was only $46 a bottle, she let me back in the house.
Okay.
I still had to sleep downstairs for a couple nights, but
right.
I at least got to sleep inside.
Yeah.
Did she help you with the second case?
Right. That's what I didn't tell her. I left it in the trunk.
Yeah.
So that tells you Mike never brings home a bottle that's less than $46.
Right. Right.
No.
What I would have tried to use is the stuff like she does when she goes to Bed Bath and Beyond and be like, she walks in the door with this big bag of stuff. And her first statement is always, "You're not going to believe how much I saved." I'm like, no, you could have saved everything if you didn't go to the store at all. We don't need any of that stuff. But yes, so that's what I would have been. I would, if I had that case of Hancock, I'd have been like, you can't believe how much I just saved. So
Yeah, it wasn't, 2 boxes of Booker. So she knew, well, it can't be that bad.
yeah, sure. All right. Let's move on to kind of the, I don't know, the most interesting one of the night to me, again, because I hadn't tried this one before. Let's see what time has done to our red Takara. Kind of marshmallowy. Again, seems like it's going to be pretty soft.
I'm still getting some of that, vintage funkiness.
Vintage funkiness, okay.
I think I'm like the outlier of the group because I really like the nose and the taste of the red Takara. It's really just a smooth bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like this one over the original.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I want to pay $300 again for it, but
yeah.
Thanks, Sean, for splitting. But
right.
But man, if I could get it at MSRP, I'd have a whole shelf of this stuff.
Yeah.
Get a Lucky Charms on the nose.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a different one for us. Congratulations. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The old with marshmallow.
It smells green Converse.
Murph, there's a bowl of cereal in front of you.
Blue diamonds.
I'm almost getting like on the second time around, there's almost like a little bit of hint of mint hanging out in the background.
Okay. All right.
I love the nose on this, but I don't like the flavor as much as the nose. Like the nose on this is my favorite of all of them, but then I'm disappointed by the flavor, even though it's great.
Okay. Let's
like deceiving, huh?
Let's try it again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good though. I don't know.
Definitely not turning it down if it comes out of somebody else's bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean and Ben, they got a bottle. I'd hang out with them and we'd kill this bottle.
Absolutely.
Now mine though, I'd put away, of course.
We would pour, but you guys got to bring a nice cigar. That's all.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, this one would go down really easy. So it's good. I do like it. It is very good, very drinkable, very approachable. Solid. Again, price point is a killer. Same thing. I don't think I'm going to be picking up another bottle for $300, but
it was a nice experience though.
Yeah.
This is almost like opening a bottle of 107 too late in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So Steve, I know it's not on the lineup today. Can I ask you a question though?
Sure.
Maybe. So what is the separation between red and black?
I'm not sure. I don't know what because I've never had the black one. I don't know what the difference with that one is. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's something slightly different because they all tend to have something a little bit different.
Okay, because it's all single barrel, but I'm just
black is only 80 proof.
It's only 80.
I think black and green are very similar, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so probably very similar to with regular Blantons and red. Probably the same thing going on with the green and the black. Sounds like.
Yeah. Well, I wonder because I got a bottle of black sitting on my shelf and I haven't opened it, and I'm like, is it even worth opening after drinking all this stuff? So I was just, it was going to be the same as red, probably not. I mean,
green is also 80 proof.
So 80 proof. Yeah, it's the market in Japan, huh? It's 80 proof. I was reading that too.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the counterpart of the green.
So Blanton's black and green are the mixers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting to try
like
those.
Special reserve.
Yeah.
80 proof. That's a mixer, man.
It is a mixer, but I mean, the red feels like it's so soft it would get lost. You know, if you mix that with something, it would disappear. It would feel like it tastes the mixer. Yeah.
You wouldn't even smell it.
Yeah.
It's something you'd have to start the evening with, not finish with.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim, you're right. It's like, here's a taste of Blanton's, and then you end with the 127.6. Good night.
Right. Right.
The blue label was Poland Blue Label 2019 special release, and it was 98 proof.
98 proof. Okay.
Thanks, Evan.
No problem. Google is your friend.
Google is your buddy, right?
Google. You don't need it when you've got Evan.
Except when you're looking for bourbon online and every price is $2.99, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have got that for like 1,500.
Wow.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm seeing black auctions for like 275.
275.
Yeah, I think so I don't know where all you fellas are at, but Sean and I are in California, and where I got mine at, it was 249.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Y'all got the Costco's that actually get bourbon though. That's handy.
But not in our area, man. It's like
Oh, yeah?
you don't really see it in our area.
But what would be real silly though is think about it's an 80 the blue and or not the blue the black and green 80 proof. You could buy about 27 bottles of 80 proof bourbon for that amount.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
You'll never have to buy another 80 proof in your life.
It's ridiculous, right? You could buy 27 bottles of H&H and be cool, good to go. Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, fellas. I didn't mean to take us off track. Thanks.
No. That's what we're
Blantons
doing.
related.
It is Blantons related.
Good math.
All right, let's try the gold. Back to the gold one last time.
Oh, hold on, that's big from the barrel.
That's got a really nice caramel bomb nose still. It's good.
Getting green apples this time.
Green
It's
apples.
It's like green apples with caramel, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
The cheap caramel apples at the fair, the green ones, right?
Yes.
Or you get the big giant one in the store that's covered in caramel and little nuts.
Peanuts.
The bionic apple. Yeah.
Although this one's kind of like what Legend got on the last one. I'm getting a little graham cracker on this one too.
Okay. All right. Let's taste this the gold one last time here.
Yeah. I got the same taste though. I get like some cinnamon.
Some cinnamon.
Yeah.
Like cinnamon toast crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Cinnamon bread. It reminds me of cinnamon bread.
Cinnamon bread. Yeah.
Good.
That's very good.
Delicious.
Yep. Solid drinker.
Wow.
Almost a little bit of good cigar tip on the end of that too.
Yeah.
I think I could have used the samples you fellas got because my pours were a little too heavy tonight.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I can shed my bottles. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the last one. Straight from the barrel. Last one here.
Oh man.
Kind of that burnt sugar.
Brown sugar, right? Burnt brown sugar.
Yeah, burnt brown sugar on the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very so good. Okay.
I always say this should be the 6th BTAC.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good idea.
I don't know why they don't have a Blantons in the BTAC.
They should. They would do nothing but make a lot of money from it. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
are they all batches and this would be the only single barrel in BTAC?
Yeah, but why not? Do a
Would-
series of
Would they be crazy enough to batch it? Probably
Would they
not.
actually That's the Blantons. If they put it in BTAC, they'd have
I
to.
don't know. Maybe.
yeah.
You might have to kick the age up a little bit too, but then that would just make it insane.
Yeah.
But leave it uncut, unfiltered.
Yeah. The whole BTAC thing, the most curious thing about that is why don't other companies copy that idea? Again, not BTAC, but have their own. I mean, Brown-Forman could do something like that. They have a large enough portfolio.
Call
that
it
they
like
could pull
Founders
things.
Collection or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. And Jim Beam, of course, clearly could do some amazing things. And they've got Rise, they've got, there's a ton of different things, and they've got stuff with age on it, on all those categories. And there's others that can do it too. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know why others don't follow suit. All right.
I think Buffalo Trace has the corner on all these, like things that get people going crazy. And now you got the Warehouse C, which isn't that where they age pretty much all the EHT small batch anyway?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they just have productized it and said it's Warehouse C.
Right. Right.
Instantly to $1,500 on the secondary market.
Right.
Is that hard for you guys to find? Because other than small batch out here, it's like impossible to get your
Oh
hand.
yeah. Yeah. Even small batch is hard to find, really. I mean,
yeah. Every now and then I'll find small batch, but it's, when I do find it, it'll be $80.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at $60 for small batch.
I mean, I'm lucky in Virginia from the standpoint of it's a controlled state, so it's $39.99.
Yeah, but you got to be in a
but you got to. I mean,
a raffle, right? Or a lottery.
I mean, they you can still hit a small batch, but it's like you got to know what's up in order to find.
My son is in Virginia, and he told me he had to sign up for the lottery at ABV in order to get all that good stuff.
Lottery, single barrel proof. Everything else is lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, down here in southeastern Louisiana, $36.99 to low 40s, and you used to be able to just walk into the store, most stores, and pick up a small batch.
Yeah,
not anymore
on the shelves.
Right.
I almost got my hands on 2 bottles of Russell's 13 from New Hampshire, another control state, and they had it for 63, but I was too late on the trigger.
Hey, but Mike, we haven't even seen that on the West Coast yet, man.
The only place I've seen it at one bar here in Colorado, and the bar got 2 bottles.
Yeah.
And so they're pouring it at $35 a shot, and it's good. You get a good store pick, a 10-year. It's tough to say. It's tough to get to the difference.
Or a good store pick barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's come and gone here in St. Louis. So I didn't get it. I when I saw it hitting, people were on Facebook saying it's there. I just picked up a bottle, go and get it. Of course, it's already gone, but as soon as you see that, I don't. There's not a store close enough to me to get to it. So,
I mean, it's even hard on some stores where I got a buddy who owns a store, and he's like, "Yeah, I was supposed to get a case of like Blantons and a case of Weller, and the distributor showed up that day, said it wasn't on the truck, so you don't get it."
Yep.
Oh, Pappygate.
Yeah. There you go. I thought I thought that was terrible. I just thought that thing was terribly done. I don't know. You don't even. There's so many questions. I had more questions than answers after watching that stupid thing.
I'm like, how do you not arrest the guy who actually stole off?
He's stealing barrels from Wild Turkey. The only guy who did any criminal time, and the guy gets 15 years, but only does 30 days. And to me, I think they had too high level of people wrapped up in this thing buying the stuff, so I think they just kind of made it all go away. It was like we got the guy who did it. That's it. He's going to jail, and then he did 30 days, and then it's like, okay, it's over now.
The lesson I learned, Steve, from that was if you live in Kentucky and you work at Buffalo Trace, still bourbon and sell it to rich people. You won't do a lot of time, and you'll make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you walk past the where were we? I think we were in Jim Beam, and you walk by their quality control room.
Yeah.
Where they just have almost a
Booker's
bottle or two of everything they've ever done. It's all like in that just
chicken wire.
Right behind one little fence. And it's like you could touch it. It's like it's that close. You just need one person with a key.
So like bring your pliers on the tour is what you're saying. Just cut right through.
So they have that glass case in the Blanton's bottling house too that has every Buffalo Trace product in behind it. The rye.
Buffalo Trace, they have the vault.
Yeah.
Actually, they did a Whiskey Wednesday with Freddie where he went into the vault and was showing everything that's in there. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like all the heat packs, all the stuff going back years. It's like, damn.
Man, Freddie is a cool guy to hang out with and drink some bourbon with in one of these environments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's done stuff with us before. Yeah, Freddie's a good friend. So yes, check out our interview we did with him on the Bourbon Talk Show. Yes.
Yeah, somebody had a great video of one of their tours they did with Freddie, and it was like every room they went into, and there was like 8 people on this tour. So I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't something on the menu, right? But like every room they went to, he was like picking up these bottles that were just kind of stashed and handing them out. And these, people on this tour left with like 15 bottles of whiskey. Like, oh my. Hey, that's a great tour. Let's go.
Put me on that tour.
Yeah, sign me up. Where I buy a ticket?
Give me a dollar figure. I'll pay you.
Right.
Yeah. This guy was on the Pappy documentary, Moonshine Mike. It's a good friend of Rick Brenner and I. He's a good friend of ours. I don't know why he was on that documentary though. I'll have to talk to him about how he got selected to be on there. He's not really a bourbon guy.
Just kind of color commentary.
Yeah, just a moonshine guy. So I'm not sure. Not sure how that happens.
But he was cool though. I mean, the way he talked about, if you brought a bottle of Pappy, I'm not asking where you brought it from.
Right.
Drinking it and it's good to go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Mike's a cool dude for sure. All right. Last one here. Taste on this one. Anything different?
Tasted that a couple minutes ago.
It disappeared.
That's good.
Steve, you're slow.
I'm slow. Okay. Well, I got to talk. All right. Let's simple thing tonight. We just want to find out what is the favorite tonight. So I'm just going to go in the order that you guys are on my screen. So I'm just going to follow that. That means Evan, you're first. What was your favorite? 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1 being starting down with the regular Blantons, 2 being the red Takara, 3 being the gold, 4 being straight from the barrel.
Red Takara.
Red Takara gets a point. Okay. All right. Next up is Rob B.
I'm going to say red Takara as well.
Red Takara jumps out to a quick 2-0 lead. Brian Murphy.
Yeah, I'm in the red Takara camp.
Red Takara. Nice. Lee Bradley.
Got to go SFTB.
All right. It's on the board. Mike Gaskamp.
Going straight from the barrel too, and I would really like to take that and the Takara and proof the straight from the barrel down to 93 and try them together.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
That would
I
be
need
cool.
a 50-50 blend. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Bill, what's your take?
Early on, I would have said the red Takara, but now I like straight from the barrel.
Okay. Straight from the barrel is on the move here. Jim, what do you think?
Or straight from the barrel.
Straight from the barrel. Straight from the barrel now has 4, ties it up with red Takara. Jack.
Definitely straight from the barrel. I mean, red Takara is a close second, but that's my pick.
Okay. Rob W.
Straight from the barrel.
Straight from the barrel. Sean.
I can't choose.
Can't choose.
Well, you can.
In fairness, he didn't have any of the samples you fellas had. So in fairness.
Right. Well, we're going to ask you too. So in fairness, we're going to ask you as well. So get ready. From your perspective, Sean, there's no wrong answer. It's how you would answer.
Gold.
Okay, gold's on the board. Jake. Team Jake.
Yeah, our favorite was definitely the gold.
Gold. All of a sudden, gold comes to life. Now has 2 votes. Dave.
Straight from the barrel, any day, every day, by a mile.
Straight from the barrel. All right. Ben.
Yeah, so just for the nose, red Takara, but to drink, straight from the barrel.
All right.
Can't be that proof and that easy to sit on the tongue. I mean, come on.
Last one is let's talk to the legend, Rick Brenner.
Straight from the barrel.
Straight from the barrel.
Amen.
Okay. Here's our final vote is now in. Receiving 0 votes was regular Blantons. No one gave it. No one cast it a hey, just a sympathy vote. They got 0. The gold.
Buy it if there was a guy in front of me.
Yeah. Yes, you would. I guarantee you, if I was in line behind, I know you would. You'd be like bitching about it and say how you don't even like it, but you would buy it. And then you'd be that guy. And I'd be there just like, please don't let him get it. And I know you would.
I hope it would be you behind me.
Yeah. If it was $62, I'd buy it. If it was more than that, Steve, it'd be yours.
I'm cheap, so I don't. I mean, 70, okay, 75. After any more than that, I'm not buying it. I don't get into the crazy pricing. I spend so much money on bourbon anyway. It's not like, oh well, I didn't even spend my bourbon money this month. No, I spend too much. So if it's overpriced, I'll find it somewhere else. A deal will be had.
TLBCRG says red Takara in the chat.
Yeah, I gave him credit for that. Yes.
All right, cool.
So in third place was the gold. The gold did get 2 votes. And then in second place was the red Takara with 4 votes. Pretty impressive. And then the straight from the barrel was tonight's champion with 9 favorite votes. So there you go. The favorite of the evening is straight from the barrel, high proof. You get together a bunch of bourbon fans and, people that listen to bourbon podcasts, attend these type of events, tend to be the most, ardent bourbon fans, and they tend to like higher proof. There's no doubt about it. So it makes sense. So there you go. Well, gang, thank you for being part of this. What I do now is I turn off the recorder because we do record this. No sense just recording a bunch of chit chat, but I'll stick around. I'll answer any questions you like. You want to hear about the bourbon industry, my company, anything we got going on, the people of bourbon, anything you want to ask about, we can do that. We can just chat. But for now, we'll say goodbye to the folks that are watching this for the event. And thank you for being part of this.